Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving headfirst into a conversation that's been bubbling under the surface of a no-prep drag racing world for a while now. Is this the end of big tire, no-prep racing? Has the beast gotten too big to control? And if so, is small tire racing about to take a throne? Buckle up, because we're not just asking questions today. We're connecting the dots, laying out the hard truths, and looking toward the future of Street Outlaws and beyond. Let me take you back a few years. Back when No Prep Kings was absolutely dominating the scene. TV ratings were strong, fans were packing the stands, and big tire racers were gods of the asphalt. We saw steel-bodied behemoths smashing out 370s on sketchy surfaces, and the crowds loved every second of it. The excitement was raw. It was a gritty, unpredictable show of horsepower and nerve. But like many great things, there's a point where too much of a good thing can become, well, unsustainable. Let's be real, running a big tire car today is no joke. You've got to have serious funding. These aren't just your backyard builds anymore. We're talking about cars that are basically pro mods in disguise. You want to run with the big dogs? Then you'd better be prepared to spend big money. We're talking six-figure builds, tens of thousands in travel, maintenance, parts, fuel, you name it. And if you're not dipping into the 3.70s range consistently, you're not even in the conversation anymore. That's the crux of the issue, isn't it? The Speed Promotion Series, which many saw as the successor to NPK, isn't hitting the numbers. The fields are shrinking. Canada got cancelled. Even some US races have struggled to bring in cars. And it's not because the passion's gone. The love for the sport is still there. But because the bar has been set so high, very few can afford to reach it anymore. What used to be a proving ground for underdogs has become a playground for the elite few who can burn money as fast as nitromethane. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not here to knock the big tire guys. I love what they've done, and I still think there's a place for big tire in this sport. But the writing's on the wall, folks. The future? It's looking a whole lot smaller, and that's not a bad thing. Small tire no prep is where the heart of the sport might just find its second wind. Just look at the numbers. You've got racers showing up to small tire events with way less investment and still putting on a killer show. Scott Taylor recently took home a $100,000 win at a Speed Promotions small tire shootout, with a car that, let's face it, wouldn't be running top 10 in a big tire field. That yellow Bumblebee Camaro? It's old school, doesn't spin to 10,500 RPM, and it's not running anywhere near the edge of its engine's limits. And yet it won. Why? Because small tire no prep is more about setup, driver skill, and surface reading than brute force and budget. And that's where small tire racing wins. It's accessible. It brings back the garage racers. It brings back the local heroes. You don't need $1 million setup. You need brains, balls, and a car that hooks. It's about hustle. It's about guts. That's the spirit of street racing. That's what people fell in love with on Street Outlaws in the first place. We're already seeing the shift. More and more racers who are all in on big tire are transitioning or at least dabbling in small tire events. The buzz is there. Fans are hungry for more relatable builds. Races feel tighter, less predictable. And from a promotional standpoint, these races are cheaper to put on and still draw huge interest. That's a win-win. Now, I'm not saying big tire is dead. Far from it. There will always be marquee big tire events, the heavy hitter showdowns, the championship weekends. But as a sustainable series, as the weekly heartbeat of no prep, that might just be too much to ask in today's world. And that's okay. Every sport evolves. Maybe the torch is being passed, not to a weaker class, but to a smarter, more adaptable version of the same sport we love. So here's what I think. Small tire is the future of no prep racing. It's leaner, it's meaner, and it's ready to carry the flag forward. And if you're a fan of this world, whether you're a diehard Street Outlaw supporter or just someone who loves seeing underdogs take on giants, this is a transition you should be excited about. Because it might just bring back the edge, the grit, and the unpredictability that made no prep racing so electrifying in the first place. Now, let's talk about innovation. The rise of small tire racing is also pushing creativity to the forefront. Builders are experimenting with setups in ways we haven't seen in big tire for years. You've got folks finding new ways to get power to the ground, rethinking suspension geometry, weight distribution, and power management. Without the crutch of a massive slick and loads of downforce, these racers are finding speed the hard way, and that makes for some of the most exciting racing on the planet. Every pass counts. Every tweak matters. There's no room for error, and that's what keeps fans on the edge of their seats. And speaking of fans, let's not forget about the people in the stands and those watching online. The accessibility of small tire racing doesn't just benefit the racers. It makes it easier to host events in more places. Promoters can book smaller venues, reduce overhead, and still deliver an unforgettable show. This opens up opportunities for new tracks, new regions, and new fans to get involved in the sport. No prep doesn't have to be locked behind big gates and big sponsors. It can be a grassroots movement again, just like it was in the beginning. What's even more impressive is how fast some of these small tire racers are going now. We're talking mid to low fours on sketchy surfaces, and in some rare cases, guys are creeping into the threes. That's insane when you think about it. To get a 28 by 10.5 tire to hold that kind of horsepower down a no-prep surface, that's some real driver and tuner magic right there. It proves that you don't need 36-inch steamrollers to be fast. You just need the right mindset and a commitment to pushing boundaries. Another exciting thing about this shift is how it's bringing new blood into the scene. Big tire racing can be intimidating for up-and-comers, both technically and financially. But small tire? It's a proving ground. It's a space where new names can shine, where local legends can make a name for themselves nationally, and where the next generation of no-prep heroes is being forged right now. The barrier to entry is lower, but the stakes are just as high, and that's a recipe for growth. I also think we're going to see more crossovers. Big tire veterans testing their skills in the small tire arena. Maybe they bring their knowledge of tuning, chassis setup, or nitrous tricks with them. But they'll also be humbled by how different the game is. And that's the beauty of it. The format might be smaller, but the challenge is just as intense. Maybe even more so, because the margin for error is razor thin. Looking ahead, I think we'll start to see small tire racing get the spotlight it deserves. TV deals, streaming coverage, sponsorships, it's all on the table. Because at the end of the day, what sells? Drama, grit, close races, underdogs beating the odds. Small tire has all of that in spades, and I think the media world is starting to catch on. Don't be surprised if you start seeing these racers on your screens more often, and don't be surprised when fans fall in love with them. So what's next? We might still see some big tire glory moments here and there, especially in pro mod and outlaw classes. But in terms of no prep culture, it looks like the small tire scene is where the heart of the sport is beating loudest. Let's support it, grow it, and show the world that the size of the tire doesn't matter. What matters is the size of the fight behind it.